I'm 71 years old, and for the first time in my life, I'm admitting something out loud. I spent most of my years becoming someone I didn't even like. Not someone terrible. Just someone unfamiliar. Someone I don't recognize when I sit alone now and think back. I'm not telling this because I need forgiveness or praise. Most of the people who might have mattered are gone or distant. I'm telling it because time feels thin now. Like a wall I can finally see, and I know I don't get to walk past it. These days, my mornings are quiet. I wake up earlier than I need to. My body does that on its own now. I sit at the kitchen table with a cup of coffee that's gone lukewarm more times than I can count. Sometimes I don't turn on the radio. I just sit there and listen to the house. It creaks. The refrigerator hums. That's about it. There's a lot of space in silence. Too much, sometimes. When you're young, you think silence means peace. When you're old, you learn it can mean absence. I've had a good life, by most measures. That's what people say when they try to be kind. Steady job. Paid the bills. Didn't run from responsibility. I did what was expected of me, and I did it for a long time. I just didn't notice when what was expected slowly replaced who I was. In my 20s, I was hopeful in a quiet way. I didn't dream big, but I dreamed honestly. I liked simple things. Long conversations. Music played too loud in the car. Sitting on the floor with friends because there weren't enough chairs. I laughed easily back then. I remember that. I also remember the first time I chose the sensible option instead of the one that felt right. It didn't feel like a betrayal. It felt like growing up. That's how it always starts. I took a job I wasn't excited about because it was stable. I stayed longer than I planned because it made sense. I told myself I'd figure out the rest later. I believed there would be time. There's always time, until there isn't. My days filled up quickly. Work, commute, dinner, sleep. Weekends were for errands and catching up. I told myself I was building something. A future, security, a reputation. What I was really building was a routine I'd eventually disappear into. I didn't hate my job. That's important to say. I just didn't care about it in any meaningful way. It was something I did, not something I was. But over the years, that line blurred. People started introducing me by my role. I let them. It was easier than explaining anything else. At home, I was tired more often than not. Not exhausted, just spent. The kind of tired that makes you say, maybe tomorrow, to things that matter. I missed dinners without realizing I was missing them. I postponed conversations because they felt inconvenient. I told myself I was being practical. I didn't see the cost at the time. Costs that add up slowly don't announce themselves. There were moments I could have stopped. Little forks in the road that didn't look dramatic enough to matter. A friend who moved away and invited me to visit. I said we'd plan something. We never did. A relationship that needed honesty. I offered silence instead. It seemed safer. Silence is very good at pretending it's neutral. Years passed. Promotions came. More responsibility. Less room to breathe. I wore it like a badge for a while. Being busy felt important. Necessary. Proof that I mattered. I don't remember exactly when I stopped laughing easily. I don't remember the first time I felt disconnected from myself. That's the trouble. It didn't happen all at once. It happened quietly, politely, without disruption. That's why I didn't fight it. By my 40s, I was reliable. That was the word people used. Dependable. Solid. I took pride in it. I didn't realize that reliability had become my entire personality. I had opinions once. Strong ones. Over time, I learned to smooth them out. Keep the peace. Avoid friction. It made life simpler. It also made it flatter. At home, conversations became functional. What needs doing? What time? Who's picking up what? We weren't unhappy. We were just distant in a way that didn't feel urgent. Distance doesn't feel dangerous until it's permanent. I remember sitting in my car one evening, engine off, just staring at the dashboard. I couldn't tell you what I was thinking about. I just didn't want to go inside yet. That should have told me something. Instead, I shrugged it off. I told myself everyone feels that way sometimes. In my 50s, I started noticing the years more. Birthdays felt heavier. My parents aged quickly. Friends started talking about retirement, health. Mortgages paid off. Time became a topic instead of a background detail. Still, I assumed I'd get around to the important stuff. I'd slow down eventually. I'd reconnect. I'd explain myself. Eventually is a dangerous word. The turning point didn't come with fireworks. It rarely does. It came with a phone call on an ordinary afternoon. A death. Sudden, but not shocking. Someone I assumed would always be there, simply wasn't. At the funeral, I stood among people who knew that person better than I had, even though I'd known them longer. That realization sat in my chest like a weight I couldn't shift. I went home that night and tried to remember the last real conversation we'd had. Not logistics. Not small talk. Something real. I couldn't. That's when the clarity arrived. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just a quiet understanding that settled in and refused to leave. I had been postponing my life. Not in big ways. In small ones. Honest ones. I kept telling myself I'd be more present later. More open later. More myself later. Later had run out for someone else. One day, it would run out for me too. By the time I really saw it, so much was already fixed in place. Careers don't unwind easily. Relationships don't reset just because you finally understand them. Habits don't dissolve because you regret them. Some things can't be fixed. Only noticed. I tried, in my own awkward way, to change. I spoke up more. I reached out. I apologized where I could. Some people met me halfway. Some had moved on. I don't blame them. Time had taught them the same lesson. Just earlier. Now, at 71, I live with a mix of gratitude and sorrow that's hard to explain unless you're here too. I'm grateful I'm still breathing, that I can still walk, that I can still sit with my thoughts. I'm sorrowful because I finally know who I am, and I don't have much time left to be him. The person I became isn't awful. He's just smaller than the one I could have been, quieter in the wrong ways, careful where he should have been brave. I look at old photos sometimes. I try to find the moment it happened, the exact point where I stepped off my own path. I never can. It was 1,000 steps, not one. If you're listening to this and you're younger than me, I won't tell you what to do. I don't believe in instructions anymore. Life doesn't listen to them. I'll just tell you what I wish I had known. Being liked is not the same as being known. Being busy is not the same as being useful. And success, however you define it, doesn't keep you company when the house is quiet. You don't need to blow up your life to be honest with yourself. You just need to stop delaying the parts of you that matter. I thought I was being responsible. In some ways, I was. I just didn't realize I was paying with pieces of myself I wouldn't get back. If this meant something to you, maybe sit with it for a moment. You don't have to act. Just notice. That's what I didn't do. As for me, I'm learning to accept what is. I don't have the energy to fight the past anymore. I make my coffee. I watch the light move across the room. I speak more honestly now, even if fewer people are listening. That has to be enough. This is who I am at 71. Still here. Still learning. A little late, but awake.